So we're moving on to some Diddy shit. I hope that's okay with you. So last time I talked about the 50 Cent documentary about Diddy, and I wasn't sure if it was actually going to drop or not because Diddy was trying to block it. It did drop, and it's been making waves. Here's an article, 19 surprising new reveals from the Sean Combs The Reckoning docuseries. 50 Cent's new documentary, Sean Combs The Reckoning, debuted on Netflix on Tuesday. The 4-part series features several jaw-dropping revelations about the disgraced media mogul. Here are 19 surprising new reveals. Bad Boy Entertainment co-founder Kirk Burrows claimed Diddy made the Notorious B.I.G.'s funeral a recoupable expense, basically having Big's estate pay for the memorial event. Big's former manager Wayne Barrow denied these allegations after the documentary came out. Barrow also claimed that the documentary's stories about Biggie having a contract beef with Bad Boy at the time of his passing are false. And I actually have that pulled up here, so this is a side article here. The Notorious B.I.G.'s estate addresses allegations from new Diddy docuseries. In Sean Combs The Reckoning, Kirk Burrows alleges that Diddy made Biggie's estate pay for the late rapper's funeral. Sean said, "We're gonna do the biggest funeral for Biggie that New York has ever seen," Burrows alleged. "We start to put that together. He starts to see the price. He says, we're gonna do the biggest funeral, but Biggie's gonna have to pay for this funeral. He was gonna make the funeral be a recoupable charge to Biggie's death," Burrows continued. "Sean doing a big show looks good on him, but he's not gonna tell the world that Biggie was gonna pay for it." So that's what Kirk Burrows here is alleging.
Alrighty, y'all. So yesterday I was able to speak to Wayne Barrow, who worked with Miss Violetta Wallace, who is the mother of Biggie Smalls, and managing her son's estate. 2 allegations that he wanted to address from the doc. So number one, there's this allegation from the documentary that Diddy used Biggie's record label deal, or his own money, Biggie's own money, to pay for Biggie's funeral. So Wayne tells me that that is completely not true, that he himself officiated.
So we have conflicting sources here. The Burrows are contradicting themselves. Now, however, Biggie's estate manager Wayne Barrow has addressed these allegations and insisted that they are absolutely false. Barrow recently spoke with Lauren LaRosa, who relayed his message on The Breakfast Club. He says that a lot of people have been blowing him up following this document. Okay, so we just kind of watched that. So number one, there's this allegation from the documentary that Diddy used Biggie's record label deal or his own money to pay for Biggie's funeral. So Wayne tells me that is completely not true. He has also talked to me about the contract conversation, LaRosa continued. So there is a claim in the doc, and this is a claim that has been circulating for some time, that right before Biggie's passing, there was an issue with contract negotiations between Diddy and Biggie. He says that is completely not true as well. He says that life after death was already done, so there were no contract negotiations happening. And that's what we got on that. So back to the 19 facts revealed. Diddy was physically abused by his mother, Janice Combs. Former friends of Diddy who were interviewed in the doc reflected on how disturbed they were by the beatings. Also, what I had read was that Janice Combs was doing her own form of freak-off parties while Diddy's growing up, and he was witness to some weird shit that his mom was doing and his mom's friends were doing in front of him. The next piece of information. A couple of people who spoke in the documentary and were close to Diddy back in the day felt he might have had a connection to Tupac Shakur's death. I think that Sean, now in my mature mind, I feel Puff had a lot to do with the death of Tupac, Kirk Burrows says. Making the band's Aubrey O'Day received offensive emails from her boss Diddy while she was working for him on the reality show and in the band Danity Kane. One clip she shared in the documentary was from an email in 2008 where Diddy wrote, "I'm gonna finish watching this porn and finish masturbating. I'll think of you. If you change your mind and get ready to do what I say, hit me." Kirk Burrows stated that Bad Boy Entertainment was advised not to go to LA following Tupac Shakur's death. Biggie didn't want to go, but Diddy insisted, canceling a trip to London that they had originally planned. Tragically, Biggie was murdered a day later. Male escort Clayton Howard claimed Cassie and Diddy collected his semen in a cup for a year. When he asked Diddy why, the hip-hop mogul said, "I like to see her play with it and drink it. What's wrong with that?" After Howard asked Diddy, and Cassie never asked for his semen again. Wait, what? That's disgusting. I'm gonna fucking puke. Diddy wanted to do business with Tupac, but also felt very threatened by him. Tupac wasn't interested in doing any business with Diddy. Diddy called his mom a bitch and slapped her when she questioned him about the fatal City College event Diddy promoted in 1991. Wow, what a man of fantastic character. Slapping his mother. Various speakers from throughout the doc are fearful that Diddy will seek revenge against them once he is released from prison. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he did. In the doc, Aubrey O'Day read an affidavit from an anonymous individual who claimed to have witnessed a sexual assault on O'Day by Diddy and another man in 2005. O'Day said she was aware of the accusations in the affidavit before filming, but did not recall the incident. She went on to say she is unsure if she was raped by Diddy and does not wish to find out. She has decided not to pursue the matter further, as she believes her testimony could be detrimental to other victims. Good call. Howard said they laced the baby oil with GHB, and during a 3 to 4 day session, they would use 10 bottles of baby oil. Oh, that's disgusting. Diddy and Cassie have denied denied this in the past. Joy Dickerson Neal claimed Diddy drugged and assaulted her in 1991. In the doc, she says someone later revealed to her that Diddy filmed the incident and showed it to people. Dickerson Neal's mother wrote a letter to Sean Combs' parents in 1992, detailing that she learned of the assault after her daughter woke up screaming in the middle of the night, "I'm gonna be sick." Howard said that if Tupac's music ever came on during their threesomes, Diddy would make Cassie change the music. That was the only artist that Diddy didn't want played. Howard is the male escort, by the way. Every March 9th, the anniversary of Big's death, Diddy and Cassie would fly Clayton Howard to them to drink and party for 3 to 4 days while he had sex with Cassie. This is very weird. Craig Mack was talking to Suge Knight about signing to Death Row Records, but he didn't because he was scared. Okay, that one's just for the Craig Mack fans. Kirk Burroughs described a time when Diddy walked into an office with a baseball bat and threatened him. Diddy wanted Kirk to sign over his 25% share in Bad Boy, and he held a baseball bat over Diddy's shoulder, pressing until Kirk gave in. After Diddy promised he'd give the shares back, Kirk signed them over to Diddy's mother Janice, who had the other 75%. Kirk claims Diddy created a quote shell game with Bad Boy by hiding everything that was an earning and confusing earnings so that artists had to look for their money for the next 20 years, and that's what we got. That's year 19. Surprising new reveals from Sean Combs' The Reckoning docuseries on Netflix now, produced by 50 Cent. Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. I will be watching it. Like I said, by the time of Scratched Up Live number 58, I will have watched some of it at least. Since filming this live stream, I have watched the entire documentary, all 4 episodes, and I cannot recommend it enough. You are bound to learn something that you didn't already know, and what I found most interesting is that they have essentially solved both the Tupac and the Biggie murders. Essentially, they know what went down, they know who ordered the hits, and you can probably take a wild guess at who they think it is. Go watch it. It's on Netflix. If you don't have a Netflix account, go sign up. You could probably do some sort of free trial or something. It's worth it. It's very interesting, and even just from a hip-hop point of view, a hip-hop standpoint, it's very inspiring, minus all of the evil shit. Diddy's story is inspiring, no doubt, so I highly recommend you go watch it. Here, I got some more. Diddy slams 50 Cent's Netflix documentary over stolen footage. Diddy has hit out at 50 Cent in Netflix's new docuseries, The Reckoning, labeling it a, quote, shameful hit piece that uses, quote, stolen footage that was never authorized for release. If the footage shows something very damning, just because it's stolen footage doesn't mean it's less damning. So, I gotta see the footage to determine how much I care. Whatever Diddy has to say at this point is moot. But shortly before the 4-part series, which, quote, unpacks the shocking allegations behind Diddy and his Bad Boy empire, spanning decades of his life and career, premiered on Netflix on Tuesday, December 2nd, a spokesperson for the incarcerated mogul issued a statement dismissing the documentary's credibility. Puffy's team takes particular issue with the inclusion of never-before-seen footage recorded in the days leading up to his September 2024 arrest, showing the Bad Boy boss strategizing with his legal team over a phone call. "We need to find someone who will work with us, who has worked in the dirtiest of dirty businesses. We are losing." Combs, who at the time had been hit with a wave of sexual assault lawsuits and was soon to be indicted on sex trafficking and racketeering charges, says in the clip. Combs' only issue is that it was stolen. This footage is after all the crimes have taken place, so I don't know. It seems inconsequential to me. As Netflix and CEO Ted Sarandos knows, Mr. Combs has been amassing footage since he was 19 to tell his own story in his own way. It is fundamentally unfair and illegal for Netflix to misappropriate that work, Diddy spokesperson said. Bro, Diddy, you are not going to make the documentary and sell it of you getting arrested. Netflix is plainly desperate to sensationalize every minute of Mr. Combs' life without regard for truth in order to capitalize on a never-ending media frenzy. If Netflix cared about truth or about Mr. Combs' legal rights, it would not be ripping private footage out of context, including conversations with his lawyers that were never intended for public viewing. No rights in that material were ever transferred to Netflix or any third party. He is a monster. If like half of what I've read about what Diddy has done is true, he's a fucking monster. I'm spooked, to be honest. In response, Netflix quoted Sean Combs, The Reckoning director Alexandria Stapleton, who said, "It came to us, we obtained the footage legally and have the necessary rights. We moved heaven and earth to keep the filmmaker's identity confidential." One thing about Sean Combs is that he's always filming himself and has been an obsession throughout the decades. We also reached out to Sean Combs' legal team for an interview and comment multiple times but did not hear back. Diddy's rep also slammed Netflix for involving 50 Cent, a long-standing rival of Diddy, who they say has a quote personal vendetta against the mogul. As an executive producer producer of the docuseries. Yeah, I find that just funny, to be honest. For Netflix to give his life story to someone who has publicly attacked him for decades feels like an unnecessary and deeply personal affront. At minimum, he expected fairness from people he respected. 50 Cent has yet to address Diddy's complaint, but he did explain his intent behind the docuseries in an interview with Good Morning America earlier this week. If I didn't say anything, you would interpret it as, hip-hop is fine with this behavior. There's no one else being vocal, he said. Fifth also rejected the notion that his so-called feud with Diddy injected a personal bias into the documentary, saying what they consider a pre-existing beef for 20 years is me being uncomfortable with him, suggesting that he takes me shopping. I looked at like he was testing me, like maybe you'll come play me. It's not personal, he insisted. So 50's just a petty guy. He's a funny guy. Was maybe never all too serious for 50, so he's sticking up for what's right, and it was all just kind of fun and games until all this bad shit came out, and he was always weirded out by Diddy. I don't know what's true or not. It's hard to tell with 50, but he's certainly winning. Certainly winning.